Start the song. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्कृङ्करणे जटिलो मुण्डीलुञ्चितकेशः काषायाम्बरबहुकृतवेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो उदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः अङ्गं गलितं पलितं मुण्डं दशनविहीनं जातं तुण्डं वृद्धो याति गृहीत्वा दण्डं तदपि न मुञ्चति आशापिण्डम् अग्रे वह्निः पृष्ठे भानुः रात्रौ चुबुकसमर्पितजानुः करतलभिक्षस्तरुतलवासः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशापाशः कुरुते गङ्गासागरगमनं व्रतपरिपालनमथवा दानं ज्ञानविहीनः सर्वमतेन मुक्तिं न भजति जन्मसतेन सुरमन्दिरतरुमूलनिवासः शय्याभूतलमजिनं वासः सर्वपरिग्रहभोगत्यागः कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः योगरतो वा भोगरतो वा सङ्गरतो वा सङ्गविहीनः यस्य ब्रह्मणि रमते चित्तं नन्दति नन्दति नन्दत्येव। भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजललवकणिका पीता सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा। पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे। रत्याचर्पटविरचितकण्ठः पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेवा। कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः कामे जननी को मे तातः इति परिभावय सर्वमसारम् इति परिभावय निज संसारं सर्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्. I think we'll stop here and
yeah, sure. I'll share the other thing.
the other PDF, right? Yeah.
We did 20 yesterday, this Bhagavad Gita, Kinchitadita. This is the one we did yesterday. Yeah. You're going to start from Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Manana. Is Savita ji there to start the Padartha?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam, Iga Samsare Pagudustare, Kripaya Pare Pagi Murari, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhajamudamate.
Punha api, once again. Jananam, birth. Punha api, once again. Maranam, death. Punarapi, and again. Janani Jatare, in the mother's womb. Shayanam, lying. Iha, here. Sansare, in the sansara. Bahudustare, samsara, which is very hard to cross over. Apare, samsara, which has no end. Kripaya, through the infinite kindness. Pahi, save. Murare, O the destroyer of Mura. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam. Puna api maranam. Punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Iha sansare bahu dustare. Apare kripya pahi murare. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam.
Yeah, this is the most commonly quoted sloka. Again birth, again death, again and again lying in mother's womb. This samsara process is very hard to cross over. Save me, Murare, O destroyer of Mura, through thy infinite kindness. Again, again birth, again death, and again lying in mother's womb. This samsara process is very hard to cross over. Save me, Murare, O destroyer of Mura. Save me, Murare, through thy infinite kindness. Seek Govind, seek Govind. The wheel of birth and death is never at rest for the jiva. Again, the wheel of birth and death is never at rest for the jiva. The individualized ego, prompted by desires, entertained by his imagination, and cultivated by his habits, but not yet completely fulfilled, must seek ever fresh fields of experiences repeatedly, must seek ever fresh fields of experiences repeatedly. In each lifetime, instead of exhausting the existing desires, vasanas, each one gathers to himself a new set of vasanas. We come here for a purgation, but due to our ignorance of the way and the goal, the extrovertedness in us compels us to get ourselves attached to the objects which have a beauty and a charm created by the imaginations of our minds. Maya at work. I'll read this paragraph one more time. The wheel of birth and death is never at rest for the jiva. The individualized ego, prompted by desires, entertained by his imagination, and cultivated by his habits, but not yet completely fulfilled, must seek ever fresh fields of experiences repeatedly. In each lifetime, instead of exhausting the existing desires, vasanas, each one gathers to himself a new set of vasanas. We come here for a purgation, but due to our ignorance of the way and the goal, the extrovertedness in us compels us to get ourselves attached to the objects which have a beauty and a charm created by the imaginations of our minds. Maya at work. We come with our own vasanas. The asterisk quoting the chapter Gita 8, Sagaja Vasana of the Gita. 18, but they didn't say anything about which sloka. Okay, anyway, it will come. We come with our own vasanas into vasanas playing crisscross, which is the world of objects and beings, the actual world of man's endeavor. To live up to the Sagaja vasanas and to exhaust them through actions undertaken without ego and egocentric desires, aham mama, so that no new vasanas may precipitate in us, is really the way. By all means, act and achieve, but let your actions be in an attitude. I think this is supposed to go back again. Attitude, what chapter is this one? 78. Yeah, 78. Yeah. So, of dedication, Mai Sannyasa, with an idea to serve Loka Samgraha in a spirit of Yajna. Yajna Bhava, says the Gita. Thus, when the existing vasanas are reduced, the thought disturbances calm down, and thus, when the subtle body dies, a mystic death, meaning is transcended. The experience is of the infinite spirit. Okay, I'll read this one. This paragraph is kind of 1 second. Thus, when the existing vasanas are reduced, the thought disturbances calm down, and
Dr.
thus,
Mukta, can you read the previous para also? He
yeah,
talks of
okay,
how to come out of the vasanas, purgation of the vasanas.
right. That's what I was thinking, but then the page is going back and forth. 1 second. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Bela suggested yesterday, maybe if you take the 2-page option, you can see both, one
Yeah.
beside the other.
Right.
Do whatever suits you. I mean, you just follow the page number. That should be fine also.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this one. We come with our own vasanas. Okay, this is the part of that paragraph. We come with our own vasanas into vasanas playing crisscross, which is the world of objects and beings, the actual world of man's endeavor to live up to the Sakaja vasanas, and to exhaust them through actions undertaken without ego, unegocentric desires, aham mama. So to live up to the, I'll read this one sentence again. To live up to the Sagaja Vasanas and to exhaust them through actions undertaken without ego and egocentric desires, aham mama, so that no new Vasanas may precipitate in us, is really the way. By all means, act and achieve, but let your actions be in an attitude. Let me see. In an attitude. In an attitude of dedication, Maya Sannyasa, with an idea to serve Loka Samhara. In the spirit of Yagna Bhava, says the Gita. So it says
So
Maya.
basically, basically the way to we are here to purge our vasanas. And how can we purge those vasanas? Because we have some sahaja vasanas that we're all born with. Is to do actions without the element of the ego in an attitude of yajna bhava. And for loka, for the loka, and it's not for aham or mama. So it is not what about me, but what can I do? And it is with that non-doership, with that attitude of yajna. Same, it's a karma yoga attitude, basically. Then we will have exhausted our vasanas, rather than, in contrast to this, if we are only going outwardly, we are here to purge our vasanas. We've got some bag of vasanas, but we are filling them with more vasanas because of our extroverted nature, because of our desires. We're adding on some more desires, some more impressions, unfortunately, and therefore the cycle of birth and death will continue. This punarapi mananam, punarapi jananam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam.
When you say Sagaja Vasana, what that means?
I think each one of us is born with a set of vasanas. They are the sahaja vasanas, as I understand, because those you cannot negate, right? You have been born because of whatever prarabdha karma you're born with right now. Each of us has different tendencies. We're not all the same.
Right.
So how do we get rid of those vasanas? How do we that is the whole antakarna shuddhi, is getting rid of these vasanas.
That's a Sagaja Vasana, the one you come with.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one sloka, I think I found that Sagaj in the chapter 1848 sloka, Sagajam, okay, Sagajam karma kaunteya sadosham apina tyajat
Tyajet.
tyajat sarvaramba hi doshena dhuman agnir iva avritaha. That is about Sagaj thing. This was son of Kunti, do not abandon the duty that is natural to you, even if some imperfection or incidental to it, for there is no undertaking without some imperfection, even as there is no fire without covering smoke. I don't know, that is what this Sagajam.
Yeah, maybe we can clarify that Sahaja
That,
Vasana. I will
right.
clarify that.
Okay, good. Thanks. So, by all means act and achieve, but let your actions be an attitude of dedication, right? So, dedication, sanyasya, dedication, mai sanyasya, with an idea to serve loka samgraha in a spirit of
Loka, what is that? Loka?
samgraha, samgraha, the idea to
Loka
serve
Sangraha. Yeah.
samgraha, yeah.
Mai Sanyasya Loka Sangraha.
In a spirit of yajna bhava says Gita.
Yeah. This is such an important paragraph, giving us
Yeah,
the roadmap of how to purge our vasanas.
yeah. So this is where one is said without ego, you have to exhaust through the actions undertaken without ego. And then it says act and achieve, let your actions be in attitude of dedication. That is the Mayi Samyasya. Mayi Sanyasya. And then Loka Samgraha, Yajna Bhava. Then the spirit of Yajna says the Gita. Thus, when the existing vasanas are reduced, the thought disturbances calm down, and thus when the subtle body, the mind and intellect dies a mystic death, meaning is transcended, the experience is of the infinite spirit. So the mind,
Can I
when
request you
this,
to read this one more time a little slowly, please?
yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Thus, when the existing vasanas are reduced, the thought disturbances calm down, and thus, when the subtle body dies, that's a mind and intellect dies, a mystic death, meaning is transcended. The experiences of the infinite spirit. So when we exhaust the vasanas, we get the calm mind, and then you're transcending the subtle body, and whether this infinite spirit experience happens, I think. I don't know. I mean, we'll read this completely and see. Okay. Shall I read that again? Oh, no
No,
problem.
you can go ahead,
Yes, please.
Dr. Mara,
Yes, please.
Okay.
unless someone else wants. Yeah.
Okay. Thus, when the existing vasanas are reduced, the thought disturbances calm down, and thus, when the subtle body dies a mystic death, meaning is transcended. The experience is of the infinite spirit. Thereafter, since there are no vasanas in the individual, there are no thoughts in him, and so no subtle body to claim a new embodiment to function in any fresh environment. New embodiment to function in any fresh environment. The causes for all repeated births thus totally cease. Birth is painful. Again, this one paragraph, I will read this. Thereafter, since there are no vasanas in the individual, there are no thoughts in him, and so no subtle body to claim a new embodiment to function in any fresh environment. The causes for all repeated births thus totally cease. Birth is painful. Death, of course, is excruciatingly so, and again to come to life in the horrid cell of the womb, there to be crushed, twisted, imprisoned, and persecuted by the physical and mental strains and dregs of the mother, is indeed abhorrent, terrible, cruel, and yet, as we are today, we are seemingly helpless. So how bad that explained they describe this. Birth is painful. Death, of course, is excruciatingly so. And again, to come to life in a horrid cell of the womb, there to be crushed, twisted, imprisoned, and persecuted by the physical and mental strains and jerks of the mother, is indeed abhorrent, terrible, cruel. And yet, as we are today, we are seemingly helpless. The momentum gathered by this great fall from perfection is too powerful to be halted all by ourselves. So, again, the momentum gathered by this great fall from perfection is too powerful to be halted all by ourselves. The ego, born out of me, has now become a mighty power ruling over me relentlessly. And in front of this ushprar, ushprar of my bosom,
Usurper. Usurper
usurper,
is someone, yeah.
usurper of my bosom, I am but a slave. To free myself from this great inner tyrant, to free myself from this great inner tyrant, I need now a mighty friend, a powerful and sympathetic friend. And who can it be? O destroyer of Mura, Lord Krishna, save me, help me, please, is the ardent prayer unto him, and seeking his feet of love is the only way out. So I'll read this one more time. The momentum gathered by this great fall from perfection is too powerful to be halted all by ourselves. Too powerful to be halted all by ourselves. The ego, born out of me, has now become mighty power ruling over me relentlessly. And in front of this usurper, usurper of my bosom, I am but a slave. To free myself from this great inner tyrant, I need now a mighty friend, a powerful and a sympathetic friend. And who can it be? O destroyer of Mura, Lord Krishna, save me, help me, please, is the ardent prayer unto him, and seeking his feet of love is the only way out. And even here, what right have I, the slave of my own passions, the non believer all these years, to seek his help now? So, and even here, what right have I, the slave of my own passions, the non believer all these years, to seek his help now? True, I have no faith to meet thee, O Lord. I have nothing to offer. Okay, I have nothing to offer thee except my own tears. I have nothing to claim for myself except the fatigue of my indulgence, the stink of my selfish acts, the sweat of my passions, the cords of my attachments. In fact, I don't deserve to be saved. Yet, Lord, I am tired, beaten out completely, exhausted thoroughly, repentant, repentant fully, helpless wholly. I surrender myself to thee and thy grace. I claim a hearing and expect help from thee. Art not thou the ocean of Kripa, of grace, of kindness, and of love? Art thou not the destroyer of demon Mura? Won't you thou in thy kindness take pity on me and once more destroy the old enemy Mura in my bosom, the bundle of my own wretched vasanas? Thus, to surrender unto him and to sincerely invoke his grace is to create in us divine and godly vasanas, which are the only antidote, I think, antidote to the or antidote, not sure what the antidote is, to the ego and the egocentric vasanas, which are the only antidote to the ego and egocentric vasanas that constantly clamor in our bosom for gratification. Once these are hushed, the song of the flute bearer shall be heard. The blue light of his aura can be seen. The fragrance of his garland of wild flowers can be smelt. The butter in his hand can be tasted. The embrace of the infinite can be experienced. How nice. So I'm going to repeat these 3 paragraphs one more time. True, I have no faith to meet thee, O Lord. I have nothing to offer thee except my own tears. I have nothing to claim for myself except the fatigue of my indulgence, the sting of my selfish acts, the sweat of my passions, the cords of my attachments. In fact, I don't deserve to be saved. Yet, Lord, I am tired, beaten out, completely exhausted, thoroughly repentant, fully, helpless, holy. I surrender myself to thee and thy grace. Again, I surrender myself to thee and thy grace. I claim a hearing and I expect help from thee. I claim a hearing and expect help from thee. Are not thou the ocean of kripa, of grace, of kindness, and of love? Art thou not the destroyer of demon Mura? Won't thou in thy kindness take pity on me and once more destroy the old enemy Mura in my bosom, the bundle of my own wretched vasanas? Thus, to surrender unto him and to sincerely invoke his grace is to create in us divine and godly vasanas, which are the only, again, I'm not sure about this antidote to the ego and the egocentric vasanas.
Yeah, antidote is a solution, right? It's like a
Yeah, as I say, antidote. I
huh?
not see the here it's spelled as INTI dote.
Maybe it's only a typo. I think we just
Yeah,
have to let it go. Yeah.
yeah.
I always take it as antiseptic, for virus. Similar to
Yeah, it's an antidote to the ego and egocentric vasanas that constantly clamor in our bosom for gratification. Once these are hushed, the song of the flute bearer shall be heard. The blue light of his aura can be seen. The fragrance of his garland of wild flowers can be smelt. The butter in his hand can be tasted. The embrace of the infinite can be experienced. Very nice. So this is about that
This
Punarabichara.
is such an inviting, um,
Very nice,
it's
right?
it's like it's enticing us as sadhaks to let go of this ego. So once our vasanas are hushed and are sublimated. This is what we can expect, or we have that embrace of the infinite. It's such a beautiful phrase.
Yeah. It's so
You can,
nice. Like even just reading it, you're kind of
so uplifting
feeling
it
that.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's so destroying that ego, and you really need the God's grace, like to in the
Mm.
end to destroy the ego. You need that. Even though in the beginning we have the Guru grace and all the other things happening, but in the end you need this Lord's grace to destroy the ego. Thereby the ignorance is gone and you embrace water in his hand. That's so nice. Embrace the infinite can be
And
explained like
all this ego is is a byproduct of Maya. Maya
yeah.
is so powerful, and therefore we require Murari
Mm,
to destroy that Maya and awaken us to his charm of the flute and his
mm. You know
right.
how nicely he put it, right? See how, like, this is what happens most of the time, how we get to the Lord, when you are beaten out completely, exhausted,
Mm.
thoroughly, repentant, fully, helpless, wholly. Like, you are really that type of situation where we really get to the bottom, you know, to get there. So it's nicely,
But here, if we
yeah,
remember the four kinds of devotees, right?
yeah,
Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, and Jnani.
yeah.
Artha,
Artha,
when you're in Artha, is a person who's like helpless, like the one described right now.
mm,
Artharthi is the one who is not in distress, but he wants to achieve more and more. He wants material stuff. So
right,
Artharthi.
yeah.
Jignasu is the one who he's in search of the truth.
He learns, he
Yeah.
wants to learn, yeah. Mm,
So
yeah,
here they've described the Artha over here.
Artha. So, even then, this, we don't know how many birds we have taken so far, but how we going to know in this samsara? Obviously, to realize how much vasanas we have and how much we committed now and all this, we can't keep any account. Like it kind of without, we don't know all those things, right? So that's why it's so ignorant about ourselves.
Yeah, honestly, we don't need to know all that.
Yeah.
What we need to know is the key to the solution, and that is what we've been given.
It will take
And
away
I think
everything.
our efforts should be directed towards getting the solution.
Right.
We can of course wonder at whatever happened in the previous births, what might happen in future. That's a matter for wonderment.
Yeah.
But our efforts,
Goal is to,
yeah, goal is clear, crystal clear, right in front, and staying
mm,
with the goal. That is the avyabhicharini bhakti and the vyavasayatmika buddhi. Otherwise, there are so many things in the world that can distract one from the path. That is why this path is called a razor edge path. That is why aghatita ghatana patiyasi maya. This maya can topple anybody. Even a great sadhak can get toppled. So holding on onto this path and seeking Lord's help, because it's such a getting entrenched, getting uh, out of the clutches of this ego is one of the most challenging things. So that we require, that beautifully described. We need the help of a friend who is reliable, who you can count on all the time. They've brought in the aspect of surrender so beautifully in this verse. Murari.
So please share, please. Anyone else? Next one is
Can we
Who
read
is this verse dedicated to? Is that mentioned? I think we didn't.
we did get it. It doesn't seem like anything. I don't know. This is one of those 12 or 14 because it didn't say anything in here. Punerabhijananam.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. But it's
It
such a
must
beautiful
be,
verse.
yeah.
verse again?
Maybe the Shankara did this one, I think. Maybe. Mm. But it didn't say any about anybody in the name here.
No problems.
Yeah.
So, are we done with this verse? This is the end.
Yeah, this is the end. The next
Okay.
one is the 22.
Mm.
Yeah. We can, go for another reading, or anyone else, please go ahead with your sharing.
The surrender feeling, the last paragraph on page 68. I surrender myself to thee and thy grace.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the surrender feeling, it doesn't come easily. Like it only happens when you have done all your efforts, and then when you are helpless, that helplessness leads to surrender normally. But yes, after having going through the knowledge, one knows that nothing is in our hand. It is all that is happening is because of a cause, and it is to happen. So to forbear that, you surrender, that ask for His grace, so that I go through this whole suffering. Give me the strength. So what is written, no? Take pity on me, and once more destroy the old enemies, Mura, in my bosom, the bundle of my own wretched vasanas. So it is like one should cultivate, like not cultivate, I would say, keep on having that surrender feeling. It should stay in the mind, what I feel. Then only you have that you don't have that fear also inside you when there is a surrender, and you go through that painful event or anything in life with a great strength in you, having that feeling of companionship with the Lord, that He is there, why to worry. So this is of course a bit different context I am speaking. This is all of the vasanas basically, but these vasanas also, like if you want to remove certain, you have the knowledge that you have this this type of a negative thought, or any attribute or any attraction, and you want to remove it. Then also you ask, like we can ask the God to help get rid of this quality which is negative, and I myself don't approve it. So that also helps, because when you acknowledge your own imperfection and ask God to remove it from your bosom, then there is definitely that result starts happening, and it do work. Like, so to pinpoint our own imperfections, one is to like be aware of oneself more, and we do, like, we are all aware like what imperfections we have. So this is the thing I wanted to share. Finding not finding fault exactly, it is like what what deficit is there inside us, so that we can improve upon ourselves and have only after that surrender to Him. Nobody can help you until unless that grace of God is out there. Yeah.
Jai Gurudev, I have a little book on Bhajagovindam, and it says this shloka, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, is attributed to Nityananda, and it comes as verse 26. Thank you.
I think this Yajna Bhava is so very important. This is what China had spent a lot of days talking about what this Yajna Bhava is all about. In each of our attitude, in each of our actions, we bring in the, for instance, you're cooking. You do it with the feeling that you're cooking for the Lord. You're waking up your child. So beautifully it explained. He brought in the Yajna Bhava in each of our daily activities. You're waking up your child. It's as if you're waking up the divine. You're giving bath to your child. You know, it's like you're doing the Abhisheka for Lord. So you bring in the aspect of divinity in each of your actions.
I was just attending some Gita class from US just now. Before this, it just coincides little half an hour here and there. There, that Yajna Bhava, this it was from the 3rd chapter they were giving. Sat Yajna Tapas and all for that. In that context, there was one verse which explains this Yajna Bhava very good, and that they have posted in the group. I will post to you all. It is so wonderful. It is as if that you are telling the sun that I am seeing the sun, and because sun is seeing everyone equally, so my eyes are your sun, so I should see the everyone equally. All such things was given wonderfully. So I will just post that in the group.
Thank you. Very nice.
Should we move on to the next shloka, Dr. Mara? If nobody
Sure.
has anything to share.
Yeah. This is the sloka, right? 22.
रत्याचर्पट विरचित कन्थः पुण्या पुण्य विवर्जित पन्थः योगी योग नियोजित चित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तव देवा भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते.
Rathya Charpat Virichit Kantha, he who wears the godadi, that is the shawl made up of pieces of cloth rejected by others on the road. Godadi. Rathya, the road, Charpat, pieces of old cloth, Virachit, made of Kantha, Godadi, a shawl, Punya, Apunya, merits and demerits, Varjita, well left, Pantha, the path. Punya Apunya Vivarjita Pantha, who walks the path that is beyond merit and demerit. Yogi, the yogin, that is sage. Yog Niyojit Chitta, whose mind is joined in perfect yoga. Ramate sports or lives thereafter. Balavat eva as a child, or unmattavata unmatavat eva as a madman. Rathya charpat virichit kantha. Then again it is pantha. And yog punya apunya vivarjita pantha. Yogi yog niyojita chitta. Ramate balvat ev unmatvat ev. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam.
Okay. The yogin who wears but Godadi. Okay. The yogin who wears but a Godadi.
Godadi.
Godadi. Oh, Godadi. Godadi. Okay. The yogin who wears but a Godadi, a shawl made up of piece of cloth rejected by others, picked up from the streets and stitched together, is called Godadi. Who walks, the yogin who wears but a Godadi, who walks the path that is beyond merit and demerit, whose mind is joined in perfect yoga with its goal. Perfect yoga with its goal. And he revels in God consciousness and lives thereafter as a child or as a madman. Seek Govind, seek Govind. So here they again read this one more time. The yogin who wears but a Godadi, who walks the path that is beyond merit and demerit, whose mind is joined in perfect yoga with its goal. He revels in God consciousness and lives thereafter as a child or as a madman. Seek Govind, seek Govind. A man of realization, after achieving the goal and realizing the liquidation of his individuality and therefore of his personal proprietorship over his body, is described in our sacred books as living on thereafter as a child, Balavat, as a madman, Unmatavat, or as a ghost, Pishashavat. These examples are given to express one or the other aspect of his mental attitude to the world outside. He is not a child or a madman or a ghost, yet he is like them. He has in him some qualities of this, and so he is like a child, like a madman, or like a ghost. And somehow it didn't get it. So I'm going to read this paragraph one more time. A man of realization, after achieving the goal and realizing the liquidation of his individuality and therefore of his personal proprietorship over his body, is described in our sacred books as living on thereafter as a child, Balavat, or as a madman, Unmatavat, or as a ghost, Pishashavat. These examples are given to express one or the other aspect of his mental attitude toward to the world outside. He is not a child or a madman or a ghost, yet he is like them. He has in him some qualities of these, and so he is like a child, like a madman, or like a ghost. Love and hatred we find even in children. They express all emotions as and when they arise in their innocent minds. But the very next moment, they have forgotten all about those feelings. Children are always found to be fully engrossed with their immediate mental mood. They have no capacity to drag the past into the present, the color and color the present happenings with the dead past. There is perfect spontaneity both in children and in perfect seers. A man of perfection also lives from moment to moment and lives fully and entirely in the present, chaste present. He carries no regrets from the past, nor has he any anxiety for the future, right here and now, like the children ever do. The man of realization lives and revels. Balavat. A madman moving amidst us. His mind is full of his own thoughts, and the ordinary folks have no entry into the thought world of the demented man. Again, a madman moving amidst us, his mind is full of his own thoughts, and the ordinary folks have no entry into the thought world of the demented man. So too, the man of perfection moves amongst us, and his inner experiences are too deep and strange for us to gauge and understand. He lives amidst us. Often he conforms to the discipline of our social actions, but even though his feet are amidst us in our own world, his head is held ever above the clouds of likes and dislikes, ego and its vanities, joys and sorrows. Matavat. So, but even though his feet are amidst us in our own world, his head is held ever above the clouds of likes and dislikes, ego and its vanities, joys and sorrows. He revels in peaceful. He revels in the peaceful state, Samya Avastha, the Samya Avastha in great equipoise. This paragraph, I'll repeat this line again. He revels in the peaceful state, the Samya Avastha, in great equipoise. He, in his inner life, walks the path which is beyond both merit and demerit, good and bad, pleasure and pain. So, he in his inner life walks the path which is beyond both merit and demerit, good and bad, pleasure and pain. These opposites are experienced only when the empirical world is projected by the mind. The merit and page 83. The merit, demerit cannot affect the perfect, and not even the Vedas describe or prohibit the actions of such Mahapurushas. The Upanishad exclaims, for one who is moving above the three gunas, where is prescription? Where is prohibition? Okay, let me see this, go back to this paragraph one more time. Yeah. Okay, so he revels in the peaceful state. He revels in the peaceful state, the Sami Avastha, in great equipoise. He, in his inner life, walks the path which is beyond both merit and demerit, good and bad, pleasure and pain. These opposites are experienced only when the empirical world is projected by the mind. Merit and demerit merit and demerit cannot affect the perfect, and not even the Vedas prescribe or prohibit the actions of such Mahapurushas. And not even the Vedas prescribe or prohibit the actions of such Mahapurushas. The Upanishad exclaims, for one who is moving above three gunas, where is prescription, where is the prohibition? Fearlessly he moves, alone, in lonely jungles and in quiet places, by day and by night. Fearlessly he moves about. Others are afraid of him in due reverence. Pishashavat. The ghost is afraid of none, all fear it. Such a man of perfection, his mind totally plucked away from its usual fields of passion and lust, when it has reached a perfect yoga with the goal, has reached its God realization. When such an individual transcends his mind and intellect treads the surface of the globe, and he is no more a slave to his body, and so his body dare not demand anything for itself. However, the perfect man allows his body a minimum of protection, and this is indicated by Godadi. Godadi. I'll read this paragraph one more time.
Godadi. It is Godadi. Godadi.
Godadi. Okay,
Godadi.
sorry.
Godadi means
Uh,
the what we can call
like a quilt or something.
a quilt
God,
with all the old
old
uh,
piece of cloths
and
thrown
earlier
Yeah,
together.
my
quilt. It is a quilt actually. It is known as Godhadi.
Godadi,
Godhadi.
Godadi,
Godadi.
Godadi, and in Kannada it is called Kavadi. Same.
Hmm. I know. This is not the word in
My
Tamil.
grandmother used to do it, and we used to
Yeah.
sleep beside her in that Godadi.
Godadi. Yeah.
It is the most cozy this thing actually.
Hmm.
Most cozy thing to really use it during the night.
Yeah.
In Hindi, it is called Gududi then. It is called Gududi in
Godhadi,
North
yeah, Godhadi.
Godadi.
Gududi. Yeah.
Godadi. Okay. Such a man of perfection, his mind totally plucked away from its usual fields of passion and lust, when it has reached a perfect yoga with the goal, has reached its God's realization. When such an individual transcends, his mind and intellect treads the surface of the globe. He is no more a slave to his body, and so his body dare not demand anything for itself. However, the perfect man allows his body a minimum of protection, and this is indicated by Godadi. Godadi. In society, everyone has got duties, and duties go hand in hand with rights. If you are to enjoy the privileges in a nation as a citizen under its constitution, you have also definite duties towards the community in which you are living. The lesser the privileges, of course, lesser the duties. It is also very well known that a dead man has neither any duty nor has he any privilege among the living. After the mystic death of the individual concept, the ego, the master no more has any rights to demand, but out of his infinite love for mankind, he cannot but take upon himself all duties. Again, after the mystic death of the individual concept, the ego, the master no more has any rights to demand, but out of his infinite love for mankind, he cannot but take upon himself all duties. Thus, a true sage in India, according to our scriptures, serves the society day in and day out, without relaxation, with as much sincerity and diligence as the selfish man would work for his own personal gains in the world's various departments of activity. And yet, a sage takes from the world only a minimum, the barest need. This is indicated by the very traditional uniform of the rishis in India. They lived in the jungles and fed themselves upon wild fruits, roots, and leaves. They sheltered themselves under the trees, preferably very near the burial ground. They kept for themselves for their use only a shell called the kamandalu. The attitude of taking from life the least but giving back to life the most is that which yearned for the Mahatmas of this country, the respect and the reverence that we even today show to them. All these ideas are indicated when Shankara describes here that his God man moves in the world, covering himself with only a godadi. This is called a patchwork quilt, and it is a shawl made out of all sorts of available cloth pieces picked up by him from the wayside as and when he came across them and stitched together at a random to serve him as a multicolored, many designed shawl of variety textures. The idea being that since he has nothing more to gain from the world, he does not want to increase the competition of the world by demanding his rights even for the so called utter necessities of life. What a contrast! Today, the best ones among us strive under a philosophy of minimum effort and maximum gain. Again, today, the best ones among us strive under a philosophy of minimum effort and maximum gain, while the fathers of our culture lived in our land with the healthy philosophy of a maximum effort and minimum gains to themselves. The difference between these two philosophies are like the night and day, and the enjoys life in a cultured society should necessarily be poles far removed from the sorrows of a barbarous, uncultured, immoral society. This stanza is traditionally attributed to Sri Nityananda. This is the one it says it was dedicated to Nityananda. So that's the end of this one, I think. Oh, yeah. So, anyone want any paragraph to be reread?
And the last one, lots of contrasts.
Sure. Sure, Dr. Renu. What a contrast! Today, the best ones among us strive under a philosophy of minimum effort and maximum gain, while the fathers of our culture lived in our land with the healthy philosophy of maximum effort and minimum gains to themselves. The difference between these two philosophies are like night and day, and the joyous life in a cultured society should necessarily be poles far removed from the sorrows of a barbarous, uncultured, immoral society. This stanza is traditionally attributed to Sri Nityananda. Let me go
I
back to.
remember can you hear us? Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I remembered the charitra of our Nai, actually in Hubli. We have Saint Siddhartha Swami. So we are descent from there. So we read the charitra. In that charitra, all these are explained. How he had come like a madman, and he used to play with the childrens. And then uh, immediately he used to come and it looked like as if he was a ghost. All this explanation means exactly suits this. Wonderful. And even now they do the jatra there. They do this after the jatra. Again, come back to the Godadi, means Kavadi Puja they do. In Kannada, they call Kavadi. And Godadi is, so you wear that and then forget whatever you had, the celebration, that Jatra and all that. He was in the Jatra means he was on the Ratha, no? So now he comes back to the ground and wears this godadi and put the uh, bhiksha patra and eats whatever everyone puts in that. So everyone together they eat the food. This is happening still in that Siddhartha Swami Matha. So this is what the perfect verse that Siddhartha Swami lived, and explains the perfect man's character. And even the children used to hit him as a madman. They used to hit him with stones. He did not bother at all. And wherever he gets food, he used to eat. It was living. My grandfathers and all that, they have seen him like that. Such a perfect person.
Yeah,
Thank you. Jai Guru.
welcome. Yeah, it's very nice this way how the yogin, the man of realization, how they describe him here. So they take in either like a childlike or like a madman or a ghost. This paragraph was very nice, that where he revels in the peaceful state, Samyavastha, where great equipoise, and he's beyond this, all these things, merit, demerit, pressure, the pairs of opposite.
That is
This is
Gunati.
the takeaway of this verse, I think, no? The
Yeah,
takeaway of this verse, yeah.
Gunatita means he is beyond the gunas.
right.
A sentence that these opposites are just a projection. That's such a beautiful, like how a movie is projected onto the screen, where you get the hero and the villain and everything. You have the pairs of opposites out there. It is just a projection of the mind. The whole world with the pairs of opposites included. So he is apart from that. He is beyond that, in that Samya Vasta.
So
For him,
that's
punya does not make a difference. There's no difference for him. Punya.
yeah.
You see, in Upanishads class, I heard this. The qualities, the object by itself doesn't have good and bad. You know, any object you see in the world, it is not good and bad. Our mind makes that it is good for me, it is bad for me. So that is what the samya. So as an
Yeah.
object, when you take it, it is not good or bad. So it's the same. He gave some examples. I have forgotten, but such a beautiful thing. For somebody which is good for you, it may not be good for us, the other. So the object by itself doesn't have good or bad in it. Our mind projects it, whether it is good or bad, and that is what. So the world, what we created of opposites, is created by our own mind. So when we forget that, that's samya, the equipoise. So everything is equal. That beautiful.
And also the way they mention, like, how these people, after having realized, they do lot more with the minimum needs, but then the maximum effort they put in for the world, like all the sages and rishis, how they describe they lived in the jungle with the minimum needs, and ate whatever they got. But then yet they did all the work. Like now we are reading all this Upanishads, all, everything like this knowledge point, so how much they are worked and given it to us, so with a little, uh, with the minimum thing. But again, there are some other people in contrast, that's what they read, like who they do minimum thing, minimum effort, but the maximum gain they're expecting. But that shouldn't be the other way around. But how nice about when you talk about India and how this spiritual knowledge is created. Please share. We have a few minutes and then I can play the song. Mhm.
A lot of beautiful takeaways in this sense.
Mm.
We normally like to live in this world like business people. You want to put minimum effort but get maximum results. Whereas the way of a yogi or a realized person is
Mm.
putting maximum effort but getting minimum gain. It's not for himself. It is more for the society.
Yeah.
He lives all his life. That's why this Ratya Charpata, this Godadi that we were all talking about, he's just
Mhm.
happy with that. His minimum, his needs are minimum. And this is what we talk of in the mathematics of happiness. Your needs are minimum, but your responsibilities are more. The list is more. So it's a change in our attitude of how we look at things and how we live our life. So this is one. Second is the Yajna Bhava, so that we live in an attitude of surrender to Murari.
Yeah, that
Taking,
was really nice, that Yajna Bhava
yeah.
example you said, Dr. Brahma, that, yeah, I know we hear that as time to time and forget about it.
Mm.
I
And
think,
all these qualities,
yeah.
qualities are seen in our farmers.
Mhm.
They put in maximum efforts and get minimum output by way of money earned. They toil in the field, in the hot sun, in the rain, etc. And they get minimum returns for their work.
True. Yeah.
So they are
They are
also
doing the
yogis.
yajna. They are doing the yajna. So nice. With the yajna bhava, they do it. For me, the takeaway, the word is Murari. I just loved that word.
Mhm.
Mura is ego, killer of the. So good.
Mura, yeah.
Murari.
Yeah, Mura is. So you pray for Murari. There is a song, right? There is a bhajan. Krishna Govinda Hare Murare. He Nata Nada Narayan Vasudeva. Something like that. Mm.
What's the meaning of Murari?
Murari is
Mura
Mura
is
is
ego, no?
ego.
destroyer of the
Ego
ego.
destroys ego.
Hari is
Destroy
the
the
enemy.
ego. Yeah. Mm.
Cutting.
This Mura means ego. Mura
Ego,
means
yeah.
ego.
Mura means ego.
Okay.
The book I have says both the slokas are attributed to Nityananda, the Punarapi Jananam and this other one.
the rags. How
Oh,
he
okay.
wears the rags. Both are
Punarabi.
attributed.
Punarabi. Yes. Okay. All right. You go ahead and shall I play the?
I think Dr. Mara,
Bhajagovindam?
before you play,
Yeah.
we'll do the Shanti part.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That's
okay.
why I keep forgetting to tell you that.
No,
Yeah,
no
go.
issues. Yeah,
I'll
we'll do
start
the
from the 15, okay, today, because
You can
yesterday.
start from the 15th or so that,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
fast forward the audio clip.
Yeah, that I will do that today. Thanks.
Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
शय्याभूतलम् अजिनं वासः सर्वपरिग्रह भोगत्यागः सर्वपरिग्रह भोगत्यागः तस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः तस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भोगरतो वा भोगरतो वा योगरतो वा भोगरतो वा संगरतो वा संगविहीनः योगरतो वा भोगरतो वा संगरतो वा संगविहीनः यस्य ब्रह्मणि रमते यस्य ब्रह्मणि रमते चित्तो यस्य ब्रह्मणि रमते चित्तो नन्दति नन्दति नन्दत्येव नन्दति नन्दति नन्दत्येव भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजललव कनिकापीता भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजललव कनिकापीता सकृदपिहेन मुरारी सकृदपिहेन मुरारी समाचार सकृदपिहेन मुरारी समाचार क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनं इह संसारे बहु दुस्सारे इह संसारे बहु दुस्सारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते रत्याचर्पट विरचित ग्रन्थः रत्याचर्पट विरचित ग्रन्थः पुण्या
Jai Gurudev. Thank you.
Thank you.